This episode is brought to you by Zencastr. Zencastr is the #1 tool for all podcasters. You can record high-fidelity audio between remote locations and get studio-quality sound. Go to Zencastr.com and use coupon code THATENTERTAINS for 20% off for 3 months or 20% off an annual plan.
This is a That's Entertainment podcast.
Awesome.
Just tell people they're awesome and mean it.
Awesome.
Awesome. Awesome.
Did you have an awesome time? Did you drink awesome shooters and listen to awesome music and then just sit around and soak up each other's awesomeness?
Awesome. 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 That was awesome. You guys are awesome. No, you're awesome. No, you are awesome.
Sir, you are awesome. Seriously.
Awesome. Awesome. Awesome.
Everything is awesome.
Welcome to this week's edition of Everything is Awesome. I am your host, Kev, and this is the show where we sit down and talk to awesome people about awesome things. I am sitting down recording this at 4 in the morning on mid-February day, Saturday morning, after getting ready for taxes and editing and preparing episode 150 here. It's a long one, guys, but it's a good one. It's a really good one. It clocks in just under 2 hours with this intro and their outro. Probably be right about 2 hours. I'm going to try to keep it quick, get you guys in and out. But 150, we're going to sit down. I'm going to sit down with Ben Wallis from the Pot of Love podcast and play Alex Roberts' Star-Crossed. Amazing game. And we do something silly with it, with some comic book characters. I'm not going to bury the lead. It's with Venom and Eddie Brock. A lot of fun. This was a lot of fun playing the game. Listening back to it, I still feel some of the nervousness of like a first-time RPG player, tabletop role-playing game player. Because I don't play a lot, so I still have some things to work out to become a better player. But you'll hear all that. The reason this episode clocks in so long is we played this live at PAX Unplugged. And when I say live, I mean we were at PAX Unplugged playing it. We weren't playing in front of a crowd or anything. But the first probably like 20 to 30 minutes of the episode is going to be going over the rules and setting up the game and setting up our world and stuff. And then the last hour and a half is the actual gameplay. And I decided to keep everything together since this isn't a normal actual play podcast. I wanted to keep everything in one. So I hope you guys enjoy it. Before we kick over to the actual episode, I do want to take a quick minute to thank some people at the top of this. This is episode 150 of Everything is Awesome. And that's a huge milestone for any podcast. And as someone who has been podcasting since 2007, July 1st, going on 12 years, in a couple months, 11 and a half years at the moment, honestly, this is the second longest running podcast I've ever done. Happy Hour, the second incarnation of that, went somewhere around 167 episodes, maybe 170 some. I would have to look at the my storage devices to figure that out, but I called it quits around 167, and that was the longest running podcast I had ever done at that point. Despite, like I said, doing this for almost 12 years now. So Everything is Awesome is despite some bumps in the road every so often and missing episodes and then catching up in big bursts at a time like we currently are, has been my longest running podcast, or will be, very, very much so. By the time by July 1st, I don't know the episode number off the top of my head, but that, well before then, probably, Everything is Awesome will be blown past, even if 175 was how many episodes of Happy Hour I did. So despite the longevity of me doing podcasting, I always think that the number count is actually way more important. Guys like Doom Thugs, who have done over 200 episodes at this point. Guys like our last week's guest, Chuck Staten, who has done over 400 episodes of his podcast. Tell him, Steve Dave, over 400 episodes of their podcast. So that number is way more important to me, I think, than the actual length of doing a podcast, because if it's not consistent, or if it's not one specific podcast, there could be holes in that. So to do the same show over and over and over again is a big achievement. And here we are at 150. We've changed the formats up here and there for special occasions. And this is one of those times. This isn't the normal show where we sit down and talk to someone for an hour. And I enjoyed it. This is the type of thing I like to do for our specials. So I'll be back to wrap things up on the other end of this episode. But here we are at PAX Unplugged, November of 2018, playing the game Starcrossed by Alex Roberts with my guest Ben Wallis from the Pod of Love podcast, right here on awesomepodcast.com, part of the That's Entertainment Podcast Network on thatentertains.com/network. Here we are at PAX Unplugged live. Except not in front of the audience. It's just, you can pick up the microphone. I figured there's going to be a lot of times where neither of us are talking during this game, and in lieu of editing, because I don't edit, we can have someone color commentate.
Or I could sing.
Yeah, that works too.
You could do a golf, like a golf commentary as we're pulling from the Jenga tower.
Okay.
And now Ben has reached for the piece of the ball, and now he's pulling his hand back. He's not. Wait, he's going for it. Like that kind of really, but quiet, like whisper.
Yeah. For those that didn't pay attention to the pre-intro, let's introduce our guest here. This is episode 150.
Wow.
Of Everything is Awesome. 50 episodes ago, we did Mission Accomplished at Amalgam Comics, and almost a year later, I guess technically 2 weeks later, or 2 weeks less than a year later.
Oh, wow.
Here we are at PAX Unplugged in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, doing episode 150. We talked about doing this as a live show with a giant wooden tower block. I don't know if we're allowed to say the name.
Tumbling tower.
We call it Tenga.
Mel likes to call it a Tenga tower. Yeah.
Tenga tower. But yeah, let's introduce our guest for episode 150 here. Ben, you start.
Oh, yeah. I'm Ben, and I am one of the co-hosts of the podcast Pod of Love, and I do other things. And I've been on the show before. Thanks for having me back.
Yes.
My name is Mel. I'm also on Pod of Love.
And this is the first time you've been on Everything is Awesome.
Yes.
It's not the first time I've heard it, though.
That's good. That's good to know. That's good to know.
It always feels good, doesn't it?
Yeah, I have a listener. I have one.
You have at least two. We're sitting right here.
Yeah.
I'm honored, but I feel honored to be on episode 150. That's a big deal.
And I do like to and it's funny because this is we can all thank James D'Amato for this. Whoops. Because when I interviewed him a few episodes back, I see
Mel just banged the table and we've got a tumbling tower on it.
Sorry.
So I'm really nervous now about how this is going to go.
We'll get to the tumbling tower in a second.
I like to add drama.
Don't add that kind of drama to this, please.
I like to add accidental drama.
Yeah, oh God, end the game.
Oh God. Oh God.
But yeah, James D'Amato, when I had him on as a guest to talk about his book.
Yeah.
I said, it's been like 100 and some episodes since you've been on. We're almost at 150. He's like, oh, what are you doing? I'm like, I guess that is important.
That's awesome. So did James also introduce you to Starcrossed through One Shot, or did you find Starcrossed through other things?
That was probably through Twitter. I saw it promoted from probably both Jeff from Party of One and James from One Shot. The first actual play I listened to of it was, you know what? It could have been Heart Points. It could have been Heart Points that introduced me to it.
Yeah, well, could it makes sense.
But it was one of the big two-player podcasts out here in Philadelphia because we are the capital of two-player actual plays.
That's right.
Pod of Love, Party of One, and Heart Points.
And soon there's going to be a new one because Blaine's starting a horror two-player podcast
awesome.
like very soon. It's called, he's going to kill me for not remembering the name.
It's called Sexy Horror Podcast.
With
Blaine 3
Martin,
X's.
With Blaine Martin. Oh, goodness. That's not at all what it's called. But, Blaine's starting one, too. So we're going to have another one Philly-based also
that's
very,
awesome.
very soon.
That's very cool. But, yeah, so that's what we're doing today. To bury the lead, we're playing Starcrossed, a game from Alex Roberts. who will be our guest next week.
Oh, I didn't know
for
that.
151.
Oh, that's awesome.
Sweet.
Yeah,
We interviewed Alex too, and she is awesome.
Yeah, and I've wanted to talk to her for quite some time on the show, and it's like that group of podcasters from the One Shot Network are very hard to get a hold of.
But you seem to have done a pretty good job.
Yeah, I'm 2 for 3. I'm still
I'll say, in my experience, though, Alex, especially if Alex listens to this, was not hard at all to get a hold of. I
never tried.
Yeah, there you go.
Once I told her about the idea of what we were doing today, she's like, "Oh, that's great." I was like, "Can you be a guest on the show?" And she's like, "Yeah." So
she's so good about that. She had no problem. She was on our show so early in its existence, and it was during the Kickstarter. It was just so awesome having her on. We had such a great time with her.
I also very specifically just know how busy like that whole group of One Shot podcast people are, and I try not to like annoy them with asking unless like there's something very specifically. And I missed the boat on like helping promote this. So I was like, I'll wait till there's a reason, and then this is the reason. Like I get to talk about Starcross with her after we play it, because only time I play RPG games, role-playing games, are on podcasts, basically. So I'm excited to play this.
Yeah, it's an amazing game. It's one of my absolute favorite games, and so far we only have played 2 games on our podcast, and this is one of the 2. So it's a special place in our heart.
And I guess and you can correct me on anything I mess up here with Starcross, but Starcross is a game of, it's on my cheat sheet here, the 2-player game of Forbidden Love by Alex Roberts, where you really, really want to, but you really, really can't.
Exactly.
Did I get that? Is that the elevator pitch? I
nailed got it.
And I don't know how this came up, but you and I were talking about this, and I was like, Venom and Eddie Brock.
It's because we found out there was a romance scene basically between Venom and Eddie Brock in the movie, and we're like, oh my god, that's the greatest idea for our Starcross.
Yeah. Which, I mean,
yes, it was born.
And it kind of like, I don't know if it is because like they are together at all times, which
That's
will be
true.
the interesting part of this to figure that dynamic out.
I think it's So do you want to jump into the rules and then we can get to that?
So Ben has played this game twice before on Pot of Love with Mel. And so you guys are the resident experts.
I've played it 3 times too because I played it with Blaine
that's right.
on Pot of Love too.
Are you gonna play? Are you gonna play with Blaine on the Sexy Horror podcast?
No, Blaine and I aren't playing because Blaine and I already played a horror. No, I guess Starcross isn't on his list of ones. I was thinking Dread, but Blaine and I are going to be playing something on that, and I don't remember what we're playing either. So I'm very bad at that kind of thing. But no, Blaine and I are not playing this on our Sexy Horror podcast. I guess theoretically we could. Do you want me to explain how the game works?
Yeah, so we're going to have Ben and then Mel has to chime in to fix anything.
I don't know if I can fix it, but I'll try my best.
How the game works?
No, thank you.
So, as you said, you make characters who want to but can't.
Mm-hmm.
And then you build a precarious tower of wooden bricks. This is from the game, but the wording is so much better than I could come up with.
Yeah.
Precarious is
you play a
the right
series of
word.
scenes as your characters take turns describing what they do. You pull bricks from the tower when you increase the attraction between them. If the tower falls, then you sort of calculate how you act on your feelings afterward. If it never falls, you conclude your story never having acted on your feelings. And then you tell the end of your story. So to get set up, the first thing you do is you decide, so this sort of jumps in where we were just discussing, and then we can explain a little bit of the logistics of the game.
Well, and so before we start that part of the setup, there is like the pre-setup to the Tenga Tower is just as intense, I think, as the game.
Yes. Oh, because we already did the early pulls. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're
already feeling tense.
Yeah, we did the early pulls, and it's like, oh my god, the whole tower moved when I went after this one block.
So the thing
Yeah, I think I see some sweat on both of your foreheads.
It's happening.
So you haven't played Dread either, I'm guessing.
No.
So this game was birthed from Dread, which is a horror RPG that uses a Tenga tower, tumbling tower, to create tension and kill characters. In that game, when the tower falls, your character dies. And whenever you want to do something difficult in that game, you pull from the tower. This game is so brilliant because it takes that tension, that the tower becomes an emblem of tension in that game. It becomes the symbol of dread. It becomes the totem that sort of holds the dread of the game, that when you look at it, you feel the dread, and it embodies the dread that you feel. And in this game, it's sort of not dread, but tension and attraction. And so it's like the part of you that doesn't want to give into the feelings, because we all know what it's like to want to give in to feelings of attraction. Like, but it's harder to identify not wanting to give into the feelings. And the tower becomes the totem of sort of your tension of not wanting to give into the feelings, but oh my God, we might just do so.
Yeah.
And like it becomes sort of a totem of that. So yeah, it does an amazing. It's such a great design. It's incredible.
Yes. I loved every actual play that I've heard of it so far. And I guess you guys have played it the most out of all the podcasts that have done it. So.
We've done 3 actual plays.
Yeah. And I've listened to you guys done it, and then Heart Points and Party of One and One Shot. So I've listened to it a handful of times.
I keep always say to Mel, we should play these games when we're not doing actual plays sometimes just for fun. And then we never really do, but we do sometimes.
But that's so much content.
And yes, and
for us, though.
yes, and we barely have time to record our own podcast.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I just wonder how much it changes our dynamic. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe we play the same way. I honestly don't know.
Yeah.
But I do. So we let's see, to get ourselves ready. The one thing you're going to want to know. So the tough thing is the reason. Maybe we could do that first. We're going to come up with a situation where two people are irresistibly drawn to each other, but are prevented from expressing how they feel.
Yes.
And so we already know we want to play Eddie Brock and Venom. So here's the question. Why is it that Eddie Brock and Venom are, what is keeping them apart? Well, first, you want to say, what, for people who are listening, maybe, what has brought them together?
Well,
and you have a specific, way you want to approach that, right?
Yeah. Well, I think so. So in this world of the Spider-Verse, I think we're going to not really think much about the canon of Marvel that they have in there, only because I don't know it that well. So we're not gonna be playing by those rules necessarily, but we're also not playing by the movie rules where Spider-Man doesn't exist. So very specifically,
isn't it? I didn't see the movie, but in the film, isn't it supposed to be Marvel adjacent? Like it could exist with the
it could exist with the MCU. The Sony wants to eventually have Venom and Spider-Man go head to head.
Yeah,
toe-to-toe?
I heard that they're really talking now about a Spider-Man universe, a Spider-Verse, because of the new movie coming out and because of the Venom movie success of having Sony's own cinematic universe that's just Spider, and that it's adjacent to the Marvel so that they can interact, but it's its own cinematic universe.
Yeah.
That's sort of the talk I heard.
And Venom, so a real quick, I haven't gotten to talk about Venom really much at all, and I won't spoil anything for you or the audience, but it is so crazy. It's a movie that should not have happened. It's a movie that should not work because what makes Venom kind of special is that he's basically birthed from Spider-Man, and that doesn't happen here. And it's such a crazy movie that ends up being so good but bad at the same time.
It's awesome.
Tom Hardy's accent changes 75 times in that movie, from different variations of American dialect. And it's not a good movie, but it's also the best movie. I not only did I want to see it a second time just to kind of get that Venom feel, and get that buddy cop / romance, romantic comedy feel that the movie really does exude before we played this. But I also want to see it numerous times. It's a movie that I will watch forever, and I think everyone should watch.
I want to see it. I'm very excited about it.
It's good. But so I think in our
this
scenario, it's going to hopefully have the vibe of the movie.
Okay.
But really, I think this is going to be the traditional origin point where, Venom came from whatever home world he came from because he was attached to Spider-Man, and then the Bell Tower is how Spidey got it ripped off, and then it got attached to Eddie Brock.
Okay.
And that's how they meet and they come together.
So it came off of Spidey, and now it's on Eddie.
Yes.
Okay. All right, so we know how they came together.
Yes.
So now the question is, what's keeping them apart in terms of attraction and sexuality?
Yeah,
that's the question.
This is interesting because they're always together. But you know what it is? Here's my pitch. I think my pitch is, and let me know if there's anything you want to change here.
Yeah, sure.
I think my pitch is that Venom, the symbiote, needs to have a human host to survive.
Okay.
So it's literally life or death for Venom. And for Eddie, I think it's the power. When he doesn't want the symbiote on him, but once it's on him, he feels the power that it gives him. So I think that's what it is. Like that, they're. I don't know if I answered the question.
No, because you want to know what's keeping them apart.
What's keeping them
right?
apart?
What's
right.
keeping them from so in this version of I guess in this version of it, they're not only do they have the traditional relationship, but they also have a deeper attraction that has gone unspoken between the two of them. Like they realize that they have some sort of love or romance or sexual attraction.
Yeah, well, because that's literally the comic book. They literally have babies.
Oh, do they?
See, it's like Carnage is technically the offspring of Eddie. And
I don't think I knew that. Okay.
Yeah, and there's like, but that was like a pain. That was like nothing. That meant nothing. There's like a new version of that where there was love involved with it.
So what keeps them at this point in their story that we're going to be playing out today? What's keeping them from like talking about that nature of the relationship, or acting on those feelings, or even discussing them, or airing that part of it?
So I want to. So let's say this. So Venom, they're together out of almost a need, but why they aren't acting on their feelings, I think, is because like they kind of look at each other as less than the other. So like to Brock, Venom is this parasite that's basically infected him, but he's like addicted to that drug, so he can't kick it. But he really doesn't want to. He would choose to get rid of it if he could.
Oh, okay.
And Venom can't live without a human host. So as much as Venom looks at Eddie as you're just a filthy human who I'm better than. I need you to live. So I hope that answers it.
Yeah, I think it will, and we can flesh it out as we flesh out the character sheets and we decide who's playing what. We can sort of flesh that out more in detail. So, all right, so we know what brought them together, and we have a general idea, our beginning of an idea what keeps them apart. And so now we decide who's going to play which character, essentially, and really who's going to be the lead and who's going to be the follow, because the question is which Eddie Brock or Venom, who will be the lead and who will be the follow. That's just to say a little bit for listeners about what that means. In the game, you have one character who plays the lead and one who plays the follow. The lead starts every scene and goes first in every scene with action, and can only make certain moves, and the follow ends every scene and can only make certain moves. The lead can everyone can describe your character's movement, and you do what's called a move. You describe your character's movement in a scene, or you describe a detail in the environment. So I could say, I lean up against a wall and I gaze out on the sunset. I don't know. Or you could say or you could just say the sun is setting and the sky is a pink and purple hue. Those are moves. Okay. One is doing an action, or like I kick the car tires. One is describing a scene. The car tire looks like it's like low on air. Okay. Those are both moves. The lead can intentionally touch the follow once per scene and intentionally reveal something personal about themselves once per scene. The follow can unintentionally touch the lead once per scene and unintentionally reveal something personal once per scene. Whenever you do those, look who is approaching our actual play right now is Mr. Jeff Stormer.
Mr. Jeff Stormer.
What's up, superstar?
Oh, no. Hey,
what's happening here? Is this a podcast?
This is a podcast.
I don't know about doing this.
You don't know about doing podcasts?
I don't know if I feel comfortable on a microphone.
This is episode 150 of Everything is Awesome.
Oh, well, all right then. Congratulations.
Thank you. We are playing Starcross.
I see that. And this is when I just punch it. And I say, now kiss. So you do now.
It's appropriate because you're on the Venom microphone, and I kind of hope when you edit this that it just sounds like Venom right now. Like you can't tell it's Jeff; it's just Venom.
You're just like the symbiote shows up. Things go off the rails.
I don't think you've actually met Mel, have you?
I don't believe
in person.
that.
I mean,
we only met on the interwebs.
Yeah, we met on the internet. It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. I love your bow tie.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes, you
Fancy
are Fancy Friday.
It is Fancy Friday.
You don't give up.
Extremely hot.
I know.
We're shedding clothes over here.
I am dying.
I'm regretting wearing a long sleeve shirt under this T-shirt.
But also, it's freezing outside.
It is pretty cold.
Raining.
Yeah.
So like,
is it raining now?
Yeah, it started to rain.
Did you just get hit?
No, I've been here all day-ish, but I went out for a soda and a pretzel because I was overstimulated.
Yeah.
So what I needed was caffeine.
Yeah.
So I figured it was the right call. Just dug out for a little bit.
So you weren't hanging out with us, which means you missed the free coffee. because Mel hooked everybody who was with us up with free coffee.
That's fine. I don't drink coffee. It's all good.
There we go.
But if you want a coffee, I'll buy you one.
No, I appreciate it. Though. I'm not a coffee
I mean, he
drinker.
just said he doesn't drink coffee.
I know, but I just didn't want him to feel left out.
You
But I
get
nonetheless
the extra
appreciate
large.
the offer. It's not, it doesn't mean I'm rude.
That was just me drinking coffee on air. So
Well, anyway, I don't want to disrupt any more of the game.
No,
I
I'm
just want
glad
to come by and
that
say
you're
hello.
on my podcast. So
No, I'm glad. I wanted to be able to see before
Sort of a Christmas special style walk-on cameo, and I feel very good about it.
I was telling Ben and Blaine earlier today that I'm in the process of trying to hack Mission Accomplished for a Christmas themed mission for a Christmas special on Everything Is Awesome.
Good.
So, see if I can make that happen.
That'll be very good. Well, hey, enjoy the rest of your game, and congratulations on 150 episodes.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
All right,
hopefully see you around, Jeff.
We'll see you around.
I have to salute Jeff because he's,
I know. That was awesome.
All right.
What a nice surprise that was.
Yes. Okay.
I forget what I was explaining.
You were on the follow.
Oh yeah. I know. So I explained both of the moves that lead and follow can do. Now both of them can do the opposite once per the whole game.
Okay.
So like the lead can unintentionally touch the follow once for the whole game. The big one is that the follow can only intentionally touch once per game. So here's the real trick though. Whenever you do those moves, the touching, whenever you touch or reveal something personal about yourself, that's when you pull from the tower.
Okay.
And you mark down every time you do that. And so those are the rules. That's basically how you play.
So it's at most in a scene you're going to be pulling 2 blocks.
Well, no, 4 because 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, each. So
yes,
and technically you could do once per game. You could end up doing. I mean, I could do 4. You could do 8 if you did everything in one scene.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
that would be very rare. But yeah,
Okay.
normally you're doing once or twice in the scene.
Okay.
You're
All right. Cool.
Depends on how quickly you jump into touching and revealing personal
Yes.
things.
And I think this is it's. I don't know. I would like to hear your thoughts on who you think, as far as character is concerned, who's the lead and the follow. Because
it's a great question.
I feel like when it comes to intentionally touching, I think that could be Venom, right? Because he's literally he's clinging on for his life.
Or it's like, he has to be on him at all times.
But then when it's intentionally revealing, I don't think that's a Venom thing. I almost feel like that, maybe Eddie would intentionally reveal something before Venom would.
Oh, that's interesting.
So I don't know, what makes
well,
the
I
most
mean,
sense.
technically, maybe the intentionally touching. That's interesting. They're always together, right? But we have to, because they're always sort of touching, we should really decide what touching means in this context.
Yes, and I think what it is because obviously whenever the symbiote is exposed, and it's playing in the rules of the movie where he can kind of look at Eddie while coming out of his body.
Okay, right.
Eddie could physically touch if he wanted to, because then it's kind of separate but not.
Right.
Whenever the symbiote's out and touching Eddie can be touching Eddie. I think when you don't see Venom, that's when they're not touching. You know what I mean? When Venom is on the inside, if I gather how that works, the parasite works. Venom stays on the inside of his skin, basically.
And sometimes he just becomes Venom, right?
Yes, yeah.
Right.
He'll just quickly overtake his body.
Right.
So I think we can say, as far as the rules of touching, is whenever they can communicate with each other, and when Venom's inside his body, that doesn't mean they're touching.
Right.
Though, technically they are.
No,
not.
I think you have to say that. Yeah.
So I think the only opportunity for them to touch each other is when either Venom's out on Eddie's body, which I think we also have to. I think we maybe need to clarify, if Venom is taking over.
Yes.
And doing whatever he does as Venom, is that counting as a touch?
We could say, I think it'll depend on the context of the scene. So we should probably leave that more vague so we can sort of decide in a scene what feels right.
Yeah, because I think there could be times when Eddie's hidden and Venom's out, and that doesn't count as touching, because I think we're going to have Venom-centric scenes as well.
Yes.
Okay.
So the question is, who is more of the lead and who is more of the follow? Remember that the lead sort of drives the scene and starts the scene, and it's more of that's the person who's sort of leading the relationship.
Yeah.
And who between Eddie Brock and Venom is more the driving force of their relationship? Is more the one who's pushing them forward, pushing them ahead.
See, it's hard. I feel like there's some sort of combination.
Yeah, it's tough.
I wonder if we approach it this way: is it easier for the human part of this being to be the lead, or is it easier for the alien part of it to be the lead? And I think when you break it down, I think it's probably Eddie. Do you think it would be easier to be the lead? Because theoretically, he's the one that is going to be living life day to day on a regular basis, and exposed to the world.
Although it depends on what their goals are, because if their goal is to like find and kill Spider-Man, in that way, well, I don't know. Either one of them could be the lead in that way, because Eddie really wants to kill Spider-Man.
Yeah, because at this point with Venom, he knows that Spidey is Peter.
Right.
So and so Eddie doesn't like Peter. Venom doesn't like Spidey. Together,
I like the dynamic that Eddie is like driving them to go forward, but the symbiote is a little hesitant actually, because the symbiote's got what he wants the most, which is someone to be on and alive. Maybe he doesn't want to go out and do all the things that he does. So maybe Eddie's like kind of pushing them out. So I like the idea. So Eddie's the lead.
Eddie's the lead.
And
Venom will be the follow.
So now the question is, which one of us plays which? Do you have preferences?
I see. I don't have a preference. I should state that we do have a separate microphone that we kind of already hinted at that Jeff was on. Spoiler: the earlier Venom voice you heard was Jeff Stormer.
Is he going to sound like Venom when he does that?
100% taking that track and just editing it to be Venom. I'm not making any changes to it.
So if anyone else walks up and starts talking, we should give them the mic.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that not everybody who appears sounds like. But it's amazing that Jeff is Venom. That's so good.
Yeah, Jeff is part Venom. Going forward, should go on mic 4.
Yeah, right.
But the Venom mic is. I was okay with that. I knew that was going to happen.
That's so good.
Which
one of us is going to play which one?
I don't know. Is there, and you guys might have a better idea of this, like, is someone who's new to this game, is it easier to play a certain role as like a newcomer to this game?
Do you have a lead or the follow? Do you have a preference, do you think?
So I think it actually depends on your actual personality, because the first time we played, Ben was like, why are you the lead when your character is the follow? Because I'm very forward.
So she was playing a lead in that game.
But not even on purpose, So if you feel comfortable being the lead or more comfortable than Ben does or vice versa, then you should take it on for your first playthrough.
What do you feel? What is your strongest?
I am.
What do you feel? Because I'm leaning towards, and don't let this influence you. I feel like I'm probably better suited for the follow. But you pick, I want you to be. You're the guest. I want you to pick what you think makes you more comfortable.
I think either one of them will be challenging because, part of me thinks playing Venom is weird, right? But also playing Eddie Brock might be a little weird because I don't really know. I mean, I know things about Eddie Brock.
Yeah.
I know that he's a reporter. I know that. I've read his bio, but I forget most of it. Yeah. But how he is as a person and role playing him is a little. It'll be my version, obviously. Not
exactly.
Eddie Brock. So I'm okay with either one. So if you want to play the follow and you want to be Venom, I'm fine with that. So I'll be. Is this one mine, by the way?
No, that one's that.
I'm good. I got it.
Okay, all right. I forgot that one spilled almost.
Sorry about that.
All right, so I'm the follow, which is Venom.
Yes.
All right. So now that we have that figured out, we are almost a half hour in. Okay. So we'll. There's not much left to explain for setup here, right?
No, we're basically going to make the characters, and then we can start playing.
Okay. So
we're going to take a moment to fill out our character sheets.
All right. So
I'll read. So the first one is Who Am I? For me, that's easy.
Yeah.
And for you, it's easy too.
Yeah.
And then you decide what your most attractive feature is.
What is mine?
As I do my own, and then we switch and say what's attractive about the other one.
So what is Venom's most attractive feature? Let's see. My most attractive feature are those big white eyes. What are two things about me that I decided to say driving motivation. I don't know if it's actually true about Eddie Brock, but I feel like he's sort of driven. Yeah, no, I think that's accurate. Okay, and then we switch, and so it's going to be two things that the other person doesn't realize are attractive. So I'm going to write two things that I find attractive about Venom, but you don't realize are. And same thing with Eddie. So, let's see. Let's see. I feel like Eddie, the confidence.
actually don't know if this is true. Let me ask you a question. Does Venom also hate Spider-Man, or just Eddie, really?
Well, I think Eddie has more hatred toward Peter than he does Spider-Man.
Right. But does Venom actually hate Spider-Man?
I think so, because I think there's also like some weird like relationship that he misses from Spider-Man. But you can tell me if this is too similar here.
Okay. No, it doesn't.
I wrote down confidence and drive. For
All right.
Eddie Brock.
Okay. That's good. And I wrote down for things you don't know are that your power.
Yeah. Okay.
Like raw power and hating Spider-Man, which is maybe a little bit of a cop out for attractiveness, but
no, I think that works because I think Venom, or I think Eddie, because Eddie knows that Spider-Man and Venom are the same, he would find that attractive in Venom that he hates the same person, different reasons, but same person.
Now, the next two questions are interesting. It's why can't I act on my feelings, which we discussed a little bit, and specifically for you, for Venom, and for me, for Eddie Brock.
Okay.
And then really the harder question, why is that important to you?
Ooh, okay.
It's like, what about that is important to you? And that's where you really have to think about the psychology of this character.
So, why can't I act on my feelings for Eddie Brock? And I think I'm going to kind of keep it vague, like we said earlier, and where I say mere human. Mere human, a.k.a. flush bag. And then why is that important to me?
Can I ask you another Eddie Brock question?
Yes.
Because I think I remember this, but the whole thing was why he hates Peter Parker. It has to do with his family, is that right?
I think it has to do with the Daily Bugle work.
Oh, okay.
And you can keep it that vague, I think.
I thought didn't Eddie lose his family?
I don't, you know what, did Eddie, no, that was Flash Thompson.
I don't, okay, I
think it has something to do with like him being a reporter and Peter also being a
I thought there was something about losing his family.
photographer.
I was going to say maybe that has to do with why he doesn't want to be with.
Maybe, I mean, in this canon, that could be our canon.
True.
That could be our canon.
Yeah.
I'm okay with pissing off some comic book fanboys.
Yeah, all right. Well, maybe in this world, I don't know how he lost his family, but maybe like there's like someone that I long to love that I can't be with anymore, and so I still hold on to that.
And
you know,
how could Peter be responsible for that, though?
Like he allowed. No, you know what it is? I think later Peter Parker, I think Spider-Man saves someone he loves life, and that's when he decides later he doesn't hate him anymore. So we could do a reverse of that.
Okay.
Maybe like Peter failed to save. Maybe Spider-Man failed to save.
Okay.
Someone that Eddie cared about, and and I missed that person, which is why, like, I feel torn between Venom and the person that I love.
Yeah. Okay.
That I can't be with anymore.
So why is it important to me? I think Venom thinks that his alien race is superior than humans.
I think I found a better motivation too, which I can include. We can get rid of the first one, but also I think Eddie values his humanity and he doesn't want to lose it.
Okay,
I think he's afraid of like losing his humanity.
I like that.
To the because I wrote down as my reason I can't act on it. I would never be with an alien like him.
Okay.
And I think the reason why that's important is because I don't want to lose my humanity. I do want power.
Yeah.
But I am afraid of losing my humanity.
And for Venom, I kind of kept it vague just so because I think it's hard to make it specific for this game. Why I can't act on my feelings is because you're human and you're just a flesh bag. You're there for me to live. But why is that important to me is because like I view my alien race as a superior thing to humans, and it would be like, and I didn't write this down, but it could be like the alien race of these symbiotes would like shun me away from.
Oh yeah, family, community.
Yeah, they'd shun me away for loving a human.
That's great. That's great. So there's one more thing you can do in the game I didn't mention, which is you can talk to each other. You can talk to each other as much as you want, but here's the only caveat. You have to talk on your turn while you're doing a move. So you can't just speak as a move. You have to describe a movement and speak, or describe a detail in the environment while you're speaking. And here's the real trick. While you're talking to each other, you have to be touching the tower somewhere. The entire time you're speaking, and also not touching the table.
So if I want to talk to you in character, I have to
make it part of a move.
Make it part of a move. So if I'm saying that like the sky is cloudy today, Venom then says this to Eddie. and then I say.
Yes, you'd be like, we noticed that the sky is cloudy.
Okay.
As Venom says.
Okay,
and then
perfect.
you would say Venom
Perfect.
says something.
Perfect.
Or like I might be like, Eddie walks across the room and picks up his, camera and says to Venom,
Perfect. Okay.
it's time for us to go out.
Yeah.
That kind of a thing.
Gotcha.
So you're sort of cinematically describing something while you're doing
Perfect.
it.
Okay.
Or, revealing something intentional or touching the other while speaking.
Okay. Perfect. Perfect.
Just doing any move.
Alright.
So we can start now. And so, are you ready? Ready to give us?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's see what happens here.
The first scene is called an introduction.
Okay. Okay.
So the prompts for these scenes in this game are just that brief.
Okay.
That's
perfect.
it, an introduction. So we decided together what this scene will look like.
Well, I mean, I think I think this is perfect. It's right as Venom is being separated from Spider-Man in that bell tower scene, and he's grouping himself onto Eddie Brock, who's down below.
Can you remind me, why is Eddie there?
He is there. Let's say I don't know the exact reason. Let's say for this canon, though, he's there reporting on whatever's happening. Let's say there's Spider-Man in the black suit is chasing the Green Goblin.
Okay.
And Eddie was there to report on it, and then Spider-Man is doing his thing to get rid of Venom because he realizes it's making him a monster or whatever, and thus that's why Eddie's there.
I think it's all.
You guys DJing Jenga?
No, we are playing Starcrossed.
Is that a mic game?
Is it what?
A mic game, or are you just recording
Oh
something?
no,
No,
we're
also
recording it for a
recording
podcast. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. It looked like Jenga to me, but with microphones.
Yeah, it's. I mean, it's kind of that, but
DJ
with
Jenga.
yeah, kind of.
All right, have fun.
Thanks.
We drew attention. I saw him interested in what we were doing. So.
yeah, yeah.
Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, so that's perfect.
Okay.
That's a perfect introduction scene. All right, so I think we can just start there.
Perfect.
So I'm the lead, so that means I'm going to have to go first. So we'll start the scene. We'll take turns. Don't forget to talk into your Venom mic.
Yes.
When you're doing Venom's voice.
And just you've been doing pretty much good the whole time. Just make sure you're talking to the top of the microphone.
My bad.
Yeah, no, I just.
Hopefully I got that for the other recording we did earlier. I don't.
For the most part.
For the most part, okay.
Yeah. It picked it up enough to where we can boost it.
All right. It's hard to remember. I'm not used to these kinds of mics.
That's
so.
fine.
All right. So let's see. How are we going to begin? So the lead always starts every scene. Oh, and the follow, you end the scene whenever you want as the follow.
Okay.
So you can just be like, scene end.
Okay, perfect. And I also want to explain that not only do we have the Venom mic, I also have my XY mic set up to capture the sound of the Tenga tower falling
Nice.
in case it falls.
So awesome.
So all right, so let's go.
All right. Let's see. Eddie has been chasing Spider-Man and Spider-Man in the black suit and the Green Goblin across the city, and he is exhausted and sort of shoves the doors of this bell tower open and sort of collapses almost inside, just like panting from like the chase of trying to follow Spider-Man and the Green Goblin in this as he's reporting on it across the city.
And I think this is actually going to end up being an unintentional reveal.
Oh.
Alrighty, go for it.
Nice, I love it.
Do I describe it first and then pull?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So, as that chase is happening, Spider-Man is realizing what Venom is doing to him. And he's from previous experience knows what the symbiote's weakness is. So when he's under the bell tower, he's ringing it. And it's painful to Venom, extremely, extremely painful. So what he's unintentionally revealing in this moment is that he can feel pain from sounds, and he's literally tearing himself away from his human host in this moment. And I have to draw now. Let's see. It's too easy.
Oh my gosh, yeah, but you left us with, like, there's a row already at the scene one where it's just one in the middle.
That's fine.
Boy, you really talking about just going for it. Goodness gracious. All right, I think Eddie, and then mark down your unintentional for the scene.
Okay.
Eddie watches as whatever this is that he doesn't understand peels itself off of Spider-Man and just watches as I'm going to set you up here so much. Watches as it like falls, down from above, like towards him, and watches as it falls. See, I set you up.
Yeah. See, now this is interesting. There's one or two moves that I can go for here. I could go for my one-time only intentional touch, because
that's what I set you up for.
Yeah, because it could be unintentional, where he's just falling and landing on Eddie.
Could be.
But I feel like the more realistic thing that's happening here is Venom is in pain. He's getting ripped off. He ripped himself off of Spider-Man because of that sound, and he needs to find a human host to live. And he sees Eddie, and he's going to intentionally touch Eddie and infect him with his symbiote goodness.
All right, you're pulling again. Here's the reality. The reality is, if you hadn't intentionally touched Eddie, Eddie was going to intentionally go after, touch you. It was going to happen. One of us was going to touch the other in that moment.
Yeah, had to.
All right, so what exactly happens?
So, as the Venom's a goopy mess coming down from when Eddie was seeing this happening, Venom sees Eddie and just launches himself. And it's like a scene out of a horror movie. Like, he looks like he looks like a gooey version of what we traditionally know Venom looks like when he's with Eddie. He's like a gooey version of that. We've kind of seen that version in the movie, and stuff. And he's launching himself at Eddie and wrapping himself. And I don't know what it feels for Eddie, but he's wrapping himself around Eddie and
almost desperation at this point, right?
Exactly.
Okay. I think. This is interesting because I think what Eddie does is, rather than, I think this reveals something, but it might unintentionally reveal, which would be interesting because it's my one and only unintentional reveal. But I think that Eddie doesn't cower or hide, but instead actually reaches out towards this, gooey, monstrous mess. Whereas any other human might in that moment run or hide or cower. Eddie doesn't. Eddie stands there and reaches for it.
Okay.
Accepts it, whatever it is, unknowing really.
Okay.
For as it comes to him.
Yeah. Okay.
Do you think that's intentionally revealing something personal? It could be intentionally touching also, because I am reaching for you. So it could be intentionally touching, it could be intentionally revealing, or it could be unintentionally revealing something.
I feel that it's either intentionally touching or unintentionally revealing.
I'm going to make it my one and only unintentional reveal, I think.
All right. Now, I have a question while you're doing that. Do you only mark it off if it's a successful pull?
You just mark it. You mean if the tower falls?
Yeah, say I pull it when I do something and it falls before I place it.
Yeah, you'll mark that.
You still mark that pull?
Yep,
okay.
It'll still count towards our end game attraction.
Perfect, all right.
So I'm going to pull here. Oh, boy.
I feel like this is the thing. Jenga, to me, is always about, and this is maybe why I'm playing it wrong.
This tower is, maybe I shouldn't pull this one.
It's always about making all the moves to make sure it falls on the next person, but that's not the way you're supposed to play this game.
You're not really. And
it's
jeez, oh man, our tower is already really brutal.
And we've...
Oh my gosh, it's shaking like crazy because there's other people touching the same table as us at the con.
Yeah,
down the line from us. So it's shaking because of them. We're so screwed, dude.
This is, I mean,
oh my gosh.
Oh my god.
I'm still trying to pull.
There's an easy one.
No, it's not giving us golf commentary.
No, yeah. That's Maybe she's looking up spider facts.
Oh, yeah, maybe. All right, I pulled.
Okay. And you know what? I think that's actually the end of the scene. I think the end of this. Do I describe how the epilogue to that scene?
No, you can just say it ends there.
Well,
or you can describe an end to it.
So I think what happens is as Eddie's reaching for the symbiote, and you see Venom wrap around Eddie completely, and it's the Venom we know and love. And there's just a monstrous scream. That
nice.
You can't tell if it's Eddie, you can't tell if it's Venom.
Nice.
It's awesome. It's just there, and then we fade out of that scene.
Awesome. The second scene is a little embarrassment.
Okay. This is interesting.
So what do you think about a little embarrassment?
A little embarrassment, huh? I think so. So here's what I think. What makes the most sense is something with Eddie. I think Eddie doesn't realize what happened. Like this could be the next day, and he doesn't really realize that he's been infected. Like it seems like a dream happened, right?
Oh, so he like wakes up unknowing.
Yeah, and then he's somewhere, and then like somehow Venom does.
Man, the tower is wobbling like crazy.
Like kind of like the scene from the trailers where Venom like he gets attacked and like suddenly his arms turn into the symbiote Venom. So something like that happens, but in a more silly manner to embarrass Eddie.
Okay.
Is it supposed to embarrass Eddie in front of Venom, or is it supposed to be embarrassing just to general embarrassment?
You know what? Purposely, the game is designed so that we get to make those decisions.
Yeah, so I think this is
how
something,
we interpret the prompt.
So I think this has to be something that like where Eddie is somewhere where like he would be embarrassed that this happened in front of somebody he knows.
Okay, and we can role play. Well, Mel could even role play other characters that are like in the scene that aren't us. So
that's a good idea.
Yeah, so you can
Sure, because I'm just wasting my life posting pictures of you guys on Instagram.
Oh, great, wonderful. So, yeah, where do you think this is? Where do you think the embarrassments happen? Is it work? Is it the day? What newspaper does the
Daily Bugle?
Daily Bugle. Is it is it there? Is it somewhere else? Is it on the subway? What's a good place to be embarrassed?
You know, I think, and I don't know if he's ever had a romantic relationship with Betty from the Daily Bugle, the receptionist there. But I think maybe it should be at work, and it should be like at a team meeting, like kind of something out of Supergirl where they all meet in the newsroom in the editor's office to go over like, here's what we're doing for the news today, and I think something happens there.
Okay, all right. Well, I think it's probably enough to start it, right? By the way, I almost think we probably should have played. I'm realizing that there are these like individual tables that nobody else could touch while we're playing right next to where we are, not these giant communal tables.
It adds an element of tension.
But I think this does add, like, for the world of Venom, like this is like a chaotic world for these two. Like this kind of makes sense. Like if it falls because like someone bumped into the table, I'm okay with that.
So I'm
okay with it if you go to the person who accidentally knocked it over, explain what happened, and ask them to comment live on the podcast. Then I'm okay with it.
Okay, so this is how I think the scene starts. I think Eddie doesn't know why, but feels a renewed sense of confidence.
Yes.
And struts into the meeting, throws the doors open, and today he has worn like, this is out of character for him, he's worn like a tie, a jacket. He has slicked his hair. He looks his absolute best, and he just saunters into the meeting room. Now, see, it's going to be tough for you to act in this scene because to do moves, but you can add details. You can add details.
Yeah, and I think like it could literally be I'm the one like controlling the embarrassing moments here.
Yeah. So I say I'm going to say something actually as part of my movie. I'm going to say to everyone, "Sorry, I'm late," but like in a way that he doesn't seem very sorry.
Yeah. And I think. I think at that moment, you know what? Maybe it's so that Eddie's walking in late. It's in the conference room or the editor's office. It's in J. Jonah Jameson's office, right? And everyone's there, and there's like bagels on the table. There's like it's the morning meeting. So someone, not J. Jonah Jameson because he's cheap, but somebody else supplied breakfast, right? And Eddie's going to hear this. Well, this is going to be interesting because I have to keep switching mics.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Don't hit the tower.
As soon as you say that,
don't forget you got to touch the tower too.
This is creepy. No, you're not.
Now, does anyone else hear that, or just Eddie?
Just Eddie. When
right.
Yeah. So in those situations when Venom isn't out of the body, it's only Eddie hearing
great.
that.
That's fabulous. That's
I
so
need
good.
to ask you a very important question, Kevin.
Yeah.
When you are talking in the Venom mic, or when Jeff was, does it sound like Venom in your earphones?
No, not yet.
That's disappointing.
You have to edit it that way, right?
Yeah, I have to edit that in. That's why it's a separate track, though. So I can do it. Just edit the whole track.
All right, so I think what happens is that
is it Venom in your mind?
Is it Venom
Is
in
it
your
Venom
mind?
in your mind?
Yeah.
You hear Venom in your mind.
Oh yeah, I do.
In your mind, not his.
That's
yours.
Yeah, that's why I do the Batman voice in that mic.
There you
because
go.
It
Fair
needs to be a
enough.
little bassy.
All right, so I think when that happens and he hears the voice for the first time, he like runs into a chair and like bangs his knee into a chair, and like because it totally threw him off, and like says like, oh, excuse me. Well, actually, I don't have to touch him. I'm talking to someone else because I wasn't talking to you.
Okay.
And I say, oh, excuse me, and I like, apologize to the person whose chair I just knocked into, and I sit down at the table for the meeting.
And I think that was I think that was probably Betty's table, like the office receptionist.
Okay, that's who you might play,
Yeah,
maybe.
yeah.
Can you say that again? I didn't hear who it was.
Betty. I don't know her last name because I'm
Betty,
terrible.
the office
I think it's
Gotcha.
Betty. It could be something else, but
Yeah, I don't
for
know.
the purposes of-
Whatever. It's Betty in this canon.
I could probably be a Betty.
You better talk close. You better talk
I am
closer.
the worst
There
at
you go.
voices.
I forgot about that.
Perfect.
How could you forget?
It's a great question.
So I think what's happening during this meeting is maybe. So I think at some point, J. Jonah Jameson is writing everybody about Spider-Man being the worst, and we need to get more pictures of him being a criminal. Blah 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 blah. And he looks at Eddie and says, "I don't have to." So if I'm talking as another character.
You don't have to touch the tower.
So if I'm talking as J. Jonah Jameson to Brock, I don't have to.
You do not have to
Okay.
touch the tower.
All right.
Only if you're talking to...
As
long as Venom is talking to me or I am talking to Venom.
Gotcha.
Because it's the tension between
Gotcha.
us.
So I think J. Jonah Jameson is looking at Brock and says something to the effect of like, Brock, what happened with the story you were chasing last night?
Good question. I'm thinking of what his answer would be for this. All right, I think that Eddie straightens his tie and pulls a couple of like photos, like Polaroid style, out of his briefcase, and tosses them down on the table and says like, just trying to think if he saw Spider-Man after. Like again after Venom, left Spider-Man. Probably not.
Yeah,
But maybe he caught a glimpse of him or something.
I would say that he probably like from the moment that like the Venom attached himself, like everything after the goo coming down like is basically foggy to him. Like he doesn't really remember. So I don't know that he would remember seeing Spider-Man.
So maybe what he does is in that case, I think he throws them down the table and he's just like. Kind of shrugs, points at him, and says, "Same old Spider-Man shit, like chasing Green Goblin," and it just sort of petered off and went nowhere.
I like
You like my pun? It's a terrible pun.
So
I should get kicked off the podcast for that pun.
I've never been kicked off our podcast, and I've made worse puns.
Yeah, but it's just us, so then it would just be me.
I'm proud of your pun.
I like the pun. So I'm trying to think. That
Wait, I don't get it. Can you explain it to me?
Stop. Stop it.
So let's see. So he says that to J. Jonah, and then I think. So can you say like the last part of that pun?
I mean, basically, he said that it just sort of, he chased him in, and then there was nothing happened after that. Same old, because he doesn't remember what happened after that. So,
I
just realized the possibility of what could happen in the scene that I hadn't thought of yet.
Yeah, I'm trying to think how.
You forgot to say your pun again.
I'm trying to think how Venom would. I think Venom needs to say something here to Eddie here, but what? Petered out here, huh? I think what happened is Venom would what's his unintentional reveal here? So I think what he's going to do, and let me know if this is an unintentional reveal here. I think he's going to. This might be an intentional reveal.
Yeah, so here's the thing, is we probably set it up, like it made sense in our logic who was the lead in the follow, but now they're so early in their relationship that it almost doesn't make as much sense for them to be the lead in the follow.
Yeah.
That's the trick we've fallen into, I think.
Yes.
So it might have made more sense to go the other way, but I think we can still make it work.
Yeah. What I'm thinking is, I'm thinking that so maybe he doesn't actually have to say anything, but Venom is, and you can let me know if you think this is unintentional or intentional, but I think when he says that, Venom makes himself. Oh, you know what he does? All right, this is what he does. He is going to, so that no one else can see it. He is going to make Eddie's hands turn into Venom's hand, just like black goo shows up, but it's like it's hanging at his side, so no one else can really see it because it's hidden from the table. But like Eddie can feel that.
So why is Venom doing it in that moment?
He is doing that.
'Cause I'm wondering if it's an accident or if it's like because he's struggling to control himself. Maybe it's an unintentional reveal.
Here's why it's unintentional. Because you said petered out. All right?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
And because Venom knows Peter Parker.
Right.
So and it's like that word shook him to where he doesn't have to say anything, but he spurts out of the hand and obviously Eddie feels it and like looks down and sees it.
Okay, that's great.
So,
I think it's unintentionally revealing something.
Yeah. Oh boy. Oh boy. It's all bad. There's not one good one here. Oh, God.
Kevin is looking at the tower. He's caressing the tower gently, trying very hard to find a free Tango block.
That's bad.
Let's go. Oh, don't do that one.
Don't forget there are ones that go this way too.
Benjamin
that's right.
coaching him.
I forgot how gender.
Kevin continues to poke at the tower. He's slowly pulling a block out of the middle. 4 rows up. Oh, and he makes it and places it on top. Good job.
God. So that was unintentionally revealing.
So I think Eddie Brock sees that and is like surprised at first. Looks around. No one else has noticed. The meeting's going on. What's his name? James. What's his name?
J. Jonah Jameson.
J. Jonah. Yeah, he's yelling at somebody about something.
Yeah.
And so Eddie is like able to sort of be inward in this moment he's not being called on anymore. They've gotten distracted by something else in the meeting, and I think I want to count this as an intentional touch. So you tell me if you agree.
Okay.
But I think I like reach inwardly for Venom.
Okay.
And I want to say something, but I also want to try to like touch Venom inwardly to see what's there.
Okay.
So I don't know if that counts as a touch or not. What do you think?
I think it does.
Yeah. I want to try. His intention is to, if possible.
Yeah.
And maybe also he like grabs his hand. So maybe there's that element of touch too. But I want to like reach inwardly, and I want to say inwardly as I do so, "Are you there?"
Okay.
Are you in there?
Okay.
Benjamin is poking the tower. He almost slapped the whole thing over.
My goal is to pull as much as I can every round.
Yeah.
Benjamin is running his fingers along the blocks, trying to see which one is free, and slowly pulling a block out of the 4th row from the top. And he made it, but now he still has to put it on top. Can he do it successfully? Yes, he can.
Okay. And I think what happens is so when Venom unintentionally revealed himself to Eddie, he's going to pull back.
Oh.
He's going to pull it back, which I don't think that's going to be a touch. Like he's just pulling himself back into Eddie, regaining his composure and his control. And I think he's as he's doing that, again, meetings going on, no one's really noticing anything. I think there's Eddie is kind of freaking out that he's seeing this thing have a mind of its own, and Venom is going to say, and only Eddie can hear this.
Yes, we are.
At that moment, Peter Parker walks into the meeting.
Oh, God. So is that your move?
Yep.
Okay.
And he's like, oh, I'm so late. And he comes in, he's like barely holding onto a briefcase and stuffing papers in there. He's got his camera dangling around his neck.
Intention.
He looks frazzled, probably because of his night the night before.
Yeah, and he remembers. Like he remembers everything, but he doesn't know that Eddie was down there.
Right.
So what's okay? I think unintentionally touching. I want to do an unintentional touch here to see how I can figure this out. Okay. Tell me if you count this as an unintentional touch here. I don't. It might be intentional, which I already did the intentional touch. Could be an intentional reveal too. But at that moment, it's not, and he's not showing himself. But Venom is, and he'll say something too. But he's pulling Eddie out of the room, so it looks like Eddie's like just running out of the room.
Yeah.
And I'm wanting this to be my unintentional touch because the sight of Peter Parker's making him like.
Yeah, I think he's like unintentionally compelling Eddie's body to move. Like he doesn't he's not even intentionally doing it. He's unintentionally doing it because it's just a natural reaction to seeing Peter.
Yes, and it's it's as he's doing that, as he's pulling him out, he'll be saying this. Should I pull first and then touch and talk, or touch and talk?
Touch and talk and then pull.
We need to talk, Eddie. And now time to pull.
Yeah, our tower that's like literally shaking.
Kevin's about
constantly, whether we're touching it or not, because of the.
Kevin's about to pull a block from the third row from the bottom. Slowly, and he does it. Can he put it on top without knocking it all down? Oh my goodness!
It's
very possibly not. Oh boy!
Yes, he can.
And that was an unintentional touch.
I love that you guys just went woo at the same time.
Did I only pull once? I guess I did.
I feel like you pulled twice.
No, yeah, I pulled twice.
Yeah, I
am so bad at remembering.
You did an intentional
touch that I forgot to put it down. So.
And I think that could be the end of our scene there.
Okay.
It's just.
We needed to talk. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. In that case, okay, that sounds good. Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
It was sufficiently embarrassing, I think.
Yeah, I think that you
especially the way you probably contorted his body on the way out of the.
Yeah, and I think I think Eddie embarrassed himself when he fell into the chair and whatnot. And
so this is perfect because scene 3 is called Finding Common Ground.
Okay, perfect.
So if this is when they find out they both hate the same person.
Yes.
That's perfect. So where is this scene? What is this scene? How do we want to lay this scene out?
This, I think, takes place on the rooftop at the Daily Bugle minutes later.
Minutes later on the rooftop,
yeah.
Okay.
And I think it's going to simply be them, like, having an internal discussion.
Yeah.
Which will be fun to pull off.
This is great.
Yeah,
this is great.
Yeah. I think you know where I'm going with this, so.
All right. So we get to the rooftop, and I think Eddie is past the point of confusion and, like, wants to know what's going on. So he's still confused, but, like, I feel like he has, like, this desire to know what's happening. Yeah. But I think above all, he's feeling that whatever this is inside of him is immensely powerful, and he, like, wants to know it. So he, like, says, like, I think he says, like, he, like, pulls himself together. And after, like, his body is, like, contorting itself and moving itself against his will and crashing out the door onto the rooftop. And he's regained his composure, and he says, I need to know what the hell you are. And, yeah.
Okay, and I think what's going to happen here is when they get to the rooftop and he says that, and I think at this point, Eddie's not talking internal monologue, it's out loud. Conversation.
Makes sense.
And I think this is going to be this is going to be my intentional reveal. Oh, the intentional, something personal, huh?
Because didn't you already intentionally reveal something personal?
No, I did the intentional touch already.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Of course.
So would revealing himself be like an intentional? It's not something personal. It's just revealing himself.
Yeah, I don't think it's really something personal.
So what's going to happen is Venom is going to from Eddie's chest area is going to pull himself out a little bit so that they can look each other in the eye. And he's going to simply say, "We are Venom, and we have a common enemy."
I think Eddie sees these big, white, beautiful eyes,
forgot about that.
and like sees in them raw passion
Yeah.
and raw power, and is like so. I'm gonna say aroused. People listening can decide how they think he's aroused by that.
Yes,
but I
yes.
think he's like, it's just like this. It's incredible. This thing, this like black and white creature in front of him, and I think Eddie like reaches. What exactly did you say? We are Venom.
We are Venom. We have a
Yeah,
common
right.
enemy.
And I think he reaches his hand out, like in a way that's a little bit afraid, but also just really wants to know, and like touches the side of Venom, like almost Venom's face.
Okay.
And is just showing like this. It's almost revealing something about himself personal. It's not personal, but certainly revealing his courage. And it just says, what the fuck are you? And touches Venom.
Okay.
I'm going to pull for that.
All right.
Oh, Ben's going for the middle of the tower, poking at some blocks to see what's loose. Shaking his head because it is a difficult task.
See,
Our tower fucking sucks.
yeah. I don't know if like the idea of like I want to pull every time is a good one or not. I want it to be, but because I don't know if I want to make it to the end. Oh my god!
Oh, Benjamin pulls it off.
That was, but see, and you pulled that in such a risky manner.
I know, I really
like,
did.
Let me wrap my
Can you
arm
put it
around
on
it.
top?
did.
Yes, he can.
All right.
Good job, Ben.
Okay, so he said, "What the hell are you?" So, as Eddie's touching Venom, staring at him, and whatnot, he can feel the hatred that Eddie has.
Oh, like in the touch?
Yeah.
Oh,
he
that's
can,
so good.
He can feel that hatred that like, and maybe he doesn't know what that hatred's really geared towards. But I think he does, because I think that Venom does, because Venom, now that he's part of Eddie, knows Eddie's internal monologue and knows that he's jealous of Peter Parker, so I think what he's going to do is, and it's hard to be the follow to unintentionally.
Yeah,
especially
it is hard to be the follow.
Yeah, now it's hard to unintentionally do some of these things. So I think he's going to say something about. Let's see. I wonder how he could. I think he's going to unintentionally reveal like his feelings towards the human race, and how they're like they're there for him to live. So I think that's I'm going to try to make this in an unintentional way by explaining their common enemy.
Yeah.
And whatnot. So, oh boy. So I got to think what he's going to say exactly here. So, okay. All right. I think I got something here.
We can sense your hatred for that boy. That boy is he's no mere man. He's, some might call him Spider-Man. So I wanted to, and just like the rest of you human flesh bags, he needs to die. He used me for power. Oh my God, it's so wobbly.
Do you think that's enough?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's
all
enough.
right. So let me pull my brick. Oh my God, it's all.
I hope it doesn't fall now, because I really want them to have more of an opportunity to flesh this out before we end the Oh my God. Oh, it's out. Oh man.
Okay.
Oh,
okay.
it's precarious though. No, I hope we get some pictures of the tower, because this is so good.
Okay, and that was my unintentional revealing something personal.
Yep.
It's gonna be so hard to do unintentional touches with Venom.
It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough.
Okay, all right.
You kind of got it like earlier when you reacted that was good. So I think Eddie says. Let's see. I think he says.
I think you forgot to mark because I think you just did. Didn't you do a pool this round or no? No, no, you didn't. Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I did.
You put that. I don't know what you did though.
Intentionally touching.
Yes.
Yeah, I did that twice. Man, I'm really bad at keeping track. Like really bad. I always forget. I think I have some ideas for what I want Eddie to do here. Well, first Eddie's going to say the first thing that's going to happen is that just trying to figure out how to turn it into a move and how much I want to do in one. I think Eddie's going to say, who? Peter? Parker? And I think he's going to like kind of take a step back in shock, to find out. Like he's just shocked by that information. The idea that Peter Parker is Spider-Man, I think would be just like I think he says like there, no way, and then like he's like piecing it together in his mind,
Yeah, and I think he's seeing like Peter gets all these great shots of Spider-Man, like and it's starting to make sense.
And I think actually I'm gonna do another move here. I think I'm going to unintentionally reveal something about myself, which is my once a game. Mm-hmm. Oh, no, I only have an unintentional. I already did that. I can't. I have only the unintentional touch left.
Oh, I do. When it's me, I have a good intentionally revealing something personal. So.
I also have a good intentionally revealing something personal, but I'll save it for later this game. I'm just trying to figure out how to make this into a whole move. So, I could just reveal a corny detail about the scene. Like, I think like what happens is he like as he says that he's so shocked he takes a couple steps back and he like leans up against the wall and there's like a half wall that keeps you from falling off the edge of the building. Or maybe it's a little low and he almost stumbles over it. So like the street is below him and behind him and like almost looming over him is Venom.
Okay. All right. So there's a couple things I can do here.
Pigeon scatter. That's how I'm picturing in my mind. It's like,
Well, and I almost want. Can you do? I guess you can't do two moves at once, so you can't do.
No, one move at a time.
Okay. Oh man, what do I want to do first? I think what makes more sense, narratively, is that I don't think that wall stops you, right? I think that like you're backing up, and you might hit it, and it stops you a little bit, but like you start to go over.
Okay.
And I think that my just the natural reaction that Venom is going to have is like basically taking over Eddie's body and then using his Venom web slinger fluid to get back onto the rooftop and then instantly kind of reverting back to the scene of them in the middle of the rooftop looking at each other. And I think that my reasoning for it being unintentional is that it's like survival. Like Eddie will die otherwise. Oh boy.
Now don't forget to mark it like I did.
Yeah. Mark it. Oh my God, this is all.
Our tower is very precarious. Now there are new rows
at
the top.
Oh yeah, and you have to do. It has to be 2 full rows.
2 full. So yeah, we have new rows at the top, which is your saving grace.
Yeah.
In this game. Oh my.
Oh
goodness.
my God, that is so wobbly. Whew.
Yeah. So you like to survive. Venom, uses his black Venom web sling to sling Eddie back up onto the top of the roof, so that they're just standing there, facing each other again.
And I do want to add so that you have it for your scene here, or your part of the detail here is I think that like Eddie saw himself as Venom in the windows as they were getting back up.
Exactly.
Okay.
And so I think he like looks at Venom and says, like, what if he goes, I want to use you for power too. And I think that's revealing something personal.
Yes, totally. Yeah.
So I'm going to pull.
Oh boy.
See, now we have a whole new complete row, so I can kind of...
Famous last words, Ben.
I know, famous last words is right. Oh,
he's shaking the whole tower.
I can stand to do this. So.
Yeah, oh my God.
You got the Wallis shake going on, though.
I know, my hand is so shaky right now.
And what makes it even harder is just this whole atmosphere.
Yep.
Like, oh my God.
Oh, you did it.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Woo. Being in PAX makes this like...
No, totally don't punch the tower over.
Okay. And I think, so... I think here's what's going to happen as like the birds are flying overhead and whatnot. Venom is going to say something as he intentionally reveals something personal, and I think what.
Now, don't forget. I'm not keeping track of which ones you do for scene.
Yeah.
Don't forget that you can only do those once per scene.
Well, this intentionally I can do once per game.
Yes, once per game.
Yeah, and
okay, I see.
I'm
Sorry.
doing my intentionally, and
Oh.
it's going to be a combination of something personal about and I'll get into detail about Venom's history and like where he comes from, and also to prove that Peter is Spider-Man, he's going to show him part of Peter's memory as well.
Wow.
And what he's going to do is he's going to say,
"Let us show you how."
And suddenly a flood of memories of this weird alien world come out, and you see these different symbiotes who are like solid-ish beings. They still kind of look like what you're seeing in front of you, except as full bodies, and they're a little bit more solid because that home world can adapt for that. But then after you're seeing like the like memories of them first coming to the binding with Spider-Man on the battle planet, and him having pain from separating from a human and then on Earth, and then having to go back to Spider-Man. The pain of the bell tower, but then you also see some crime fighting scenes. You see Peter abusing the power of having Venom. You see all of that.
Wow, it's amazing.
Oh my god! And I think it's like, oh my god, this is awful. That's pretty loose.
Oh man,
I'm a terrible Jenga player.
No, it's you successfully pulled, and yet we're maybe set up for a challenge.
And I think this is the end of that scene.
Yeah.
Is that, and I think it just kind of wraps with like this mutual respect for that common enemy that they have.
All right, so the next scene is actually called Hard at Work.
Okay.
And I have some ideas for that.
Yeah.
We could sort of fast forward the time.
Yeah.
If we want to, and say Hard at Work, because Hard at Work could be. I have a couple of suggestions. Maybe Hard at Work is not that fast forwarded, and it's like Eddie learning to be Venom and control Venom. So like maybe he's like practicing. I don't know if that makes sense. In the Spider-Man does that. I don't know if Venom needs to do that.
Yeah. I feel like when it's. I don't know, because I feel like that is like when he's Venom, when Venom is out, that's Venom taking over.
Yeah, okay.
And the reason he moves like Spider-Man is because he was bonded with Spider-Man for so long.
Yeah.
But it would be interesting to.
Well, my other suggestion was going to be that like they're out like doing something like trying to find like chasing Spider-Man, or you know what I mean, like doing some action sequence, basically.
Yeah.
Do you have another?
Well, I think it could be that, the scene that I want to see is something similar to like the trailers from the movie where, Eddie is getting like ganged up on, and then all of a sudden the monster comes out.
Oh, that's good.
I think that could happen like in some sort of like they're working together to figure out how to stop Spider-Man, but like I don't know exactly where they could be doing that.
Yeah, maybe they followed him home to his apartment. They're like watching, or maybe they've been like just to gather information. Maybe they've been like following him as he's swinging around the city, like on foot. Like maybe they're
Let me pitch. It's a variation of that. What if they broke into Peter's apartment and they're like investigating, so that Venom probably knows enough, but like Eddie wants to know more.
That makes sense.
And so Venom is like almost like showing him around the apartment.
Yeah.
And,
So
like,
who would be
helping him
ganging up on him?
So this could be because there's like a Spider-Man signature with Venom around. Maybe it's those spider bots from Aleister Crowley.
Wait, from what?
From Aleister Crowley is one of the, like a spider villain, and he has those spider bots that hunt Spider-Man. And maybe those spider bots are confusing Venom as Spider-Man.
That's good. I like that.
So that could be.
All right. So are we starting the scene in the apartment?
I think so.
All right. Yeah. So I think like basically, maybe Eddie knows that Peter's at doing something for work.
Okay.
So he knows, like, maybe he set it up so that he arranged, classic trope from a movie or TV, where he, like, convinced, their boss to give Peter some assignment. He knows he has a certain amount of time to do it. And so now he is, like, in, the apartment, and he's, like, knows that there's no way he has the suit.
Yeah.
So he's convinced that if Peter's Spider-Man, the suit is here somewhere, and he wants to find it. Because what better proof could it be for him to find than to find the Spidey suit? So, not anticipating the possibility that maybe that Peter keeps it with him or wears it all the time.
Yeah.
So I think he's just tearing the apartment apart, like pulling out drawers, searching through closets, and I think he's just like, and I think he says to Venom, "Come on, it must." Like he just says, like, "It must be here. You led me here. It must be here somewhere."
And let's see. So, I think as that's happening outside and a distance away, like there's time for like they're not going to get there in quite like for a couple minutes, but outside like there is the sound that Eddie's not paying attention to, Venom's not paying attention to. If they were paying attention, they could hear it. But these spider bots are on their way to Peter's apartment to because they sense the Spider-Man signature there, and maybe Venom still has a trace of that because he takes that appearance, a variation of Spider-Man's appearance with Venom and with Eddie. And I think that's happening, and Venom is going to say. He is going to say this. What? So wait, describing something is a move.
Yep.
So I don't have to unintentionally reveal something yet. So he's going to say.
I don't know what more proof we need from the visions I showed you of him of Peter acting as Spider-Man on Battleworld, saving New York City as him and I as we save the city.
I think that he says. I think he says back, and this is going to be a move, but I think he's going to unintentionally. It's going to intentionally reveal something about personal. And he says, "Well, it's because I can't trust you. What are you even? You're something. How could I ever trust? I can't just trust you. Why could I ever just trust a thing like you?" And so reveals sort of like that, how he feels about the symbiote. So I'm going to pull for that.
Okay. Oh boy, this is a giant mess of a tower.
This is a disaster.
I see you with the devil horns, Ben.
Oh my God, there's no way.
The worst part is you can't switch hands.
Yeah.
Which I wanted to do here to like put it on top, but you're not. You're supposed to not. Like I've seen people do it, but.
Well, it's nice that we have to hold a microphone because it helps prevent you.
Yeah. I almost caught myself doing it.
Do not sneeze.
Yeah.
Do not breathe. Do not cough.
It's bad now.
Somehow the top rope got crooked.
Yeah, I know.
We're gonna have to fix that, but.
So, unintentionally revealing. I want to try to unintentionally reveal something here, and it's going to be. So, I think he's going to say. He's saying this just because he's Venom. I don't think he's thinking about it at all. He feels attacked right now, so I think his response will unintentionally reveal his superior feeling that he has over humans, where he says something along the lines of,
"This would be in the ass." Let's see if I can fix this as I punch it. Oh my God, that's so bad. I need a second. I need to.
You can touch it anywhere on the top.
Oh, that's
you can
true.
Caress the side there.
All you weak humans assume that you can't trust us. We are the same, Eddie. We trust each other now.
and that's the end. I got to pull. Yeah, I got to pull. That's him unintentionally revealing.
Yep.
that he feels that you're weak.
This tower cannot be long for this world. It just can't be.
Come on.
I know we've been saying that for a long time here, but
this is.
It's just if people could only see it.
No, I can't. That's just a bad move there. That's a bad move. I guess is that complete? Okay.
Yeah, so you can pull from there. Yeah.
Oh
man.
Okay. Oh damn! I already started.
Try to like straighten that top row out while you.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Oh my please.
God. Well, can I straighten it out by?
Yeah, you can. You can even do it with your hand after you put it down if you want to, just as long as you don't knock over the whole tower. You know.
Okay.
There's an important rule I never mentioned. It's not. You can choose to knock the tower down. If you choose at any moment to like say, "I give in to my feelings," you can.
I have an idea for that. I just need to wait for the opening for it.
Okay.
If it happens, because it will be narratively good. Is the aim to get to the end? No,
it's whatever makes the best story.
Yeah, because I have a good moment for that. It just needs to get to there if we get there.
All right, so you said, all right, okay.
So Venom said something about,
trusting each other.
Yeah, you should trust me because I've shown you basically everything.
I think it's actually the perfect moment for, so what happens is Eddie hears something from inside the house, not outside.
Okay.
And is like, oh shit, and thinks someone might be coming.
Yeah.
So he climbs back out the window onto the balcony and, like, shuts the window behind him.
Okay. And I think that's, like... So... Oh, okay, and this helps, like, and this could happen without, I think, Peter getting involved. Maybe it's Peter. Like, legitimately, Peter is back, right? And at that moment... behind Eddie are the spider bots too. So so not only are they like so maybe they weren't even sensing Venom. Maybe they were sensing Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But they see Eddie, and because there's like they're going after Eddie because
they make their radar go off, right? He makes their radar go off.
And so that's why they're going after like they're targeting Eddie. Maybe Eddie turns around and sees them. But what's going to happen is I think going to fire a laser, and this will be an unintentional touch where the natural reaction for Venom is to protect his host, and he's going to form a shield with his symbiote body to absorb that laser shot. Maybe Eddie's not paying attention quite yet. The laser goes off from the spider bots, and Eddie feels Venom pull himself out of his body a little bit, and he's touching Eddie to form that shield unintentionally. At some point, I'm gonna have to stop wanting to pull. At some point,
at some point, the tower's gonna fall. That's what's gonna happen.
Not unless is Guinness Book of World Records here. Maybe we'll get the highest tower.
I don't know about that.
And that was my two things.
All right, so he formed a shield.
Yeah.
Did the things actually attack?
Yeah, they shot the fire. They shot the laser, and it Venom absorbed it.
Right. Okay. I know what I think Eddie wants to do.
Okay.
I think Eddie feels that raw power of that. And, that's what he wants, right?
Yeah.
That's, what he is hoping to get out of this. And so I think he, tries to, now whether he succeeds or not, and I think it counts as touching, tries to, pull Venom out. So, he just sort of instinctively, obviously he's not doing it in a rational sense because he doesn't understand the symbiotic nature in a rational way, but he feels it. So I think he tries to pull Venom out to take over.
Okay.
I think he wants Venom to take over so that he can use it. He almost he's trying to web sling like he did before. What he doesn't realize is that he's pulling Venom forward.
Yeah. Okay.
If that wording makes sense for you.
Yeah.
And so I think that is him trying to touch, and he's just says come on, destroy them, and
okay.
tries to pull Venom out forward to take over.
Okay.
I mean, he probably doesn't realize that he'll actually be taking over as I'm pulling. I can pull from... No, that's not...
Yeah,
I
you
can't.
need a complete...
I can pull from here. I could pull like this one.
Now I see that Now I see why you conserve your pulls. Oh my God! That
I love to pull from that row, but it's holding so much of the weight.
It's so tight right now. There you go.
Yeah, but it's loose for a reason.
Oh my God! There's so much. Like, it's so weak on that side right now.
Yeah.
Okay. And I think what's going to happen to end this scene is he's not going to come out all the way.
Oh, okay.
Venom's not going to do it.
All right.
Venom still is showing his dominant nature over Eddie here and not giving in to what Eddie wants. But he is going to just use, like, out of Eddie's fingertips, basically. Like, Eddie has no control over him him throwing his arm up, and he's just going to fire the symbiote blasts at all the spider bots at once. Let's say there's 10 spider bots. Both Eddie uncontrollably throws his hands up, and you just see the symbiote escape from off 10 fingertips and crushing all the spider bots, and they explode, and I think that's how our scene ends there.
Amazing. I hate to break the narrative tension, but we should say that Blaine Martin of All Ports Open, you can use that mic, and Refugees of Esmeralda, has just joined us.
The premise of this makes me so happy.
Yeah, we're in scene. We just ended scene 4, and we're about to go into scene 5, which is called. Scene 5 is. Oh, this is so wonderful. Scene 5 is called Close, Quiet, and Alone.
Okay.
Close, Quiet, and Alone. So that's a good post-action scene, right?
Yeah.
How do we want to frame a scene of Close, Quiet, and Alone?
I think it needs to be in Eddie's apartment.
Okay.
And it needs to be.
No, I don't think they heard that explain this on a mic, but Blaine just said, "Yeah, it does." If you just sit down, you can hold this mic, Blaine, so you can chime in as you want to.
Yeah.
I'm just being very careful. I don't want to disturb your tower scenario.
I know, it's so wobbly, but yeah, I think it makes sense for them to be in in Eddie's apartment.
Yeah.
And maybe like, it's at night. That's why it's quiet. Obviously, like Eddie's especially these days, he's a loner because like he's being infected by this symbiote. And I think that like Eddie's probably frustrated with Venom.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Yeah. Well, we can probably just jump in if you.
Yeah.
Unless you want to frame more, but I think I know where you're going with this, and I think I know exactly how I want to jump in, and I say, I think he starts. So he's frustrated. He's in his apartment. He's pacing, and he says to you, to Venom, Venom, I don't understand. I hate Peter Parker. You hate Spider-Man. He was there. That was our chance, and I saw what you can do. We should have killed him then. I want to use you to kill him. That was our chance, and that's what I say, and I think that's intentionally revealing something personal. Because I just said I want to kill Peter, so let me pull for that.
Oh my God.
Yeah, because you never know. We might not get any further in the scene than that. See, here's the thing. I can pull that one out easy, but I don't want to. I want to pull this middle one because I think it'll be better for our tower. But the whole thing is so wobbly.
The whole thing is wobbling when you try to move that middle one. Oh my God. It's going. I'm literally holding my breath right now.
I feel your pain.
Blaine is like, he hates the tower.
Oh, I remember that from
Oh man, I just scared myself. Oh, I said the worst chill. Oh my God. I thought I knocked it over by accident at the end there.
Oh my God, it looks so bad right now. There's nothing good. Like, this tower just looks awful. I wonder if I can. Like I know Mel's been taking pictures.
Oh my goodness!
I need to.
That took my breath away there. Like it really did. I know Blaine was in the middle of saying something, and then I just scared the living crap out of myself. It really doesn't look good. Like it's sticking out here.
Yeah, it's.
Stuff.
I don't even like. I'm pretty sure what's going to happen is that I'm about to do something I think that's unintentionally revealing something, but I don't know where I can pull from.
Did I mark that? Now I don't remember if I did. Okay, I thought I did.
All right, so I think what's going to happen is after you say that, I think at this point Venom is keeping himself within Eddie.
Yeah.
So while Eddie's talking out loud, what Venom's voice is just within Eddie's head, and he says something like,
"You see, Eddie, that's our problem. With you, it's all about I this and I that. With me, it's we. We are Venom."
That's awesome. Yeah, unintentionally revealing something.
Yeah, I think that.
Yeah, I think so. That's really good.
And if I'm being honest, like so I don't know. Like, is there anything else in that scene that needs to be established?
Did you pull?
Oh, I did not pull. But
yeah.
I think that, assuming that this is successful, I think
that's
that
up to you. You're the
end.
follow. You can decide
Yeah,
the scene ends.
I think that's like a good ending to the scene. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god, it just moved.
I mean, it might be the end of the game too, depending on how.
There's just no good block. I guess I can.
That's a real wobbly tower.
There's literally nothing.
There's a couple of pretty solid rows. We still have a whole full row.
But
it might be too load bearing. There's also this piece here on the end that you might be able to get out. I've been sort of saving that as a last ditch effort.
Oh my god.
Yeah, see, because it's going to be really hard after that one comes out.
Oh my god. It moved a whole lot, guys.
It did.
When I pulled this brick out from the bottom.
It did. Like I said, I was saving that one as a last-ditch effort.
I don't even...
Like, I knew it was there. I knew it would shift the weight of the entire tower when it came out, but... so, just for the folks who are at home, the first 3 rows of our tumbly tower are... Well, the first row is 2 blocks. But the next 2 rows are 1 block in a cross formation.
Oh my god,
so
that's bad.
That's not what you want.
No,
it's not what you want.
This is a bad base. No. So what's our? So that was our scene.
Yeah, you wanted that to be the scene.
Yeah, I think it's got to be our scene. I think that's a great way to end. We Are Venom on that, especially since I don't know how much game is left. I think that's a great way to end that scene. I think the point has been made on both their sides.
So, scene 7. Is a difficult choice.
Okay.
A difficult choice.
Oh my god, here's what I think it is. I think this is the moment that they both need to decide if they are a villain or a hero.
Ah.
I think that's a difficult choice, and I think it's
how they've gotten to that point. Yeah.
Yeah, like maybe like a couple months have gone by at this point.
I think it's good.
And maybe it's like, they've been working together. Maybe Venom has kind of gone silent. Who knows? I don't know that that's important. But what is important, months have gone by, and here we're at this point where, let's see, who's like the next great? I guess it would be the Green Goblin is like the next great Spider-Man villain. Literally is about to kill Spider-Man.
Okay.
Okay. And we can set up to that, but I think in we're.
So in the scene, it'll be having to choose to save or kill or allow Spider-Man to die.
Yeah, and I think that, that will depict whether they become an anti-hero,
yeah,
or a villain.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. So is the scene going to be like? I guess we want to set it up like start a few minutes.
I think
or whatever before that.
I think here. Oh, this is. I think it starts on the rooftop of Eddie's apartment, right? Or it could be anywhere, but a rooftop. Yeah, I think they have to be outside. Maybe they're even on the city ground. It doesn't. I don't think
I like
it
the
matters.
rooftop though. That's very iconic New York Spider-Man.
And I think, like Eddie's just out there, being Eddie, mad, upset with the world, whatever it is, and I think that's where it starts, and then very shortly after that, you see like Spider-Man and Green Goblin go racing by.
Oh, that's good.
All right.
And
this is such a throwback to the first scene.
Yeah.
I like it.
Oh, yeah, that's so good. All right. Yeah, in that case, I want it to be on the ground.
Okay.
Because it's a throwback to the first scene.
Should it be at the bell tower?
I think it is.
Okay.
I think he's gone back. I think Eddie's like frustrated. He's mad at the world. I think a couple of times they have worked together, but like Eddie's just frustrated because he wants more power.
Yeah.
But he feels like Venom is keep staying distant from him, and he wants to be closer.
And Venom is not like he's only gone full Venom once, and that was to save Eddie's life when he fell off the top of Daily Bugle.
Yeah.
And he's not giving Eddie that power. Because he doesn't feel like he deserves it.
Right. I mean, I want to be closer to Venom.
Okay.
I want more Venom, and Venom is holding back from me. Yeah. So I think I've gone back to that. Just like I'm like I think I'm upset, frustrated, and I'm going around the city, and like I just instinctively almost walk to the bell tower, and I look up. Eddie looks up and sees that place again where he first found the Venom, and just like it's like almost the camera shows like you see the reflection of the bell tower in his eyes.
Okay.
As he sees it.
Okay. And I think so. I think what's happening is maybe Eddie's like thinking about like if Venom's not going to make this happen, like Eddie knows how to get rid of Venom.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So I think what's happening.
So good.
So I think when Venom pops out for the first time in a long time next to him, and not in front of him so that they're staring at each other, next to him so that they're both looking up at the bell tower. And he says something like this.
We know how to end it, Eddie. It's so easy, but do you really want to end this?
That wasn't a poll.
No,
I didn't think so. I'm going to. So I think Eddie says. I keep touching the tower. Eddie says, "If you're not going to give me what I want, I'm going to make you give me what I want."
Oh.
And throws the doors of the bell tower open, and just starts like going for the steps, like full speed.
Okay. And I think when they get to the top, like right before Eddie's about to, and I think the whole time, literally Venom's out. Like he doesn't get like he's like, and he's not holding back. Like he's letting Eddie make this choice. And when they and before Eddie has a chance to ring the bell, right? It's not even that Green Goblin is chasing Spider-Man. It's that Green Goblin is up there. Like he's already up there.
Oh my God! Someone just knocked the table like very forcefully. Somehow it didn't knock our tower over, but knocked over a House of Cards sort of game.
Oh my God!
Next to us. Holy crap!
So
that was almost it.
So, whew.
It was a miracle.
Yes.
That table like jumped.
Well, I saw their tower fall. I was like, oh my God, it's our tower. So I think what happens is Green Goblin's already up there. And he's got Spider-Man by the throat. And he's choking him. And like they're monologuing. They're doing their thing as far as monologuing. And like whatever Green Goblin's saying is really unimportant. But he's like moments away from killing Spider-Man. And I think he says to Eddie,
do we let this happen?
And when he says that, that's like for the first time in this scene, he looks Eddie in the eyes.
Oh. I think what Eddie does is he, once again, like for the first time in months, like reaches out and touches the face of Venom again. Yeah. I just realized I got to pull for that.
Yep.
And touches Venom's face and says, If we stop it, will you give me what I want? But I have to pull for that.
I can't wait.
Oh my god.
I can't wait.
I can't believe that Mel and Blaine were looking at their phones and not watching this incredibly tense scene that's happening.
Is that the migraine game?
Yes.
Oh, that's amazing.
Dude, you know how I feel about towers. I'm not looking at that. I'm not making eye contact with the tower.
Even I know how you feel about towers.
Holy cow. I just tried to pull a piece out, and while it's like kind of loose, it like the whole tower shifted to the right.
It's, oh my god, this tower.
Nope, I'm not going for
is
that
going
one.
to fall.
Not happening.
Oh my god.
All right, come on, Ben. There are no loose pieces. No loose pieces.
Oh my god. Yeah, no, there's nothing.
There is.
Maybe. Oh, it's wobbling.
Yeah, it's wobbling. All right.
I think that piece we were going after originally is your best bet.
It's not. Trust me.
It's
every
gonna
time
fall,
I try to
yeah,
pull from
yeah.
it, the whole thing starts to shift. Like it may be my best bet, but it's the last full row, so it's holding on so much weight.
Yeah, it's gonna fall. There's no way it doesn't. I'm gonna start aiming the zoom.
Oh my
probe.
god.
Oh, you got it out?
I got it out.
Holy
I have to get
shit.
it back on top though.
Holy shit.
Mel is over there saying she doesn't have the mic, and she's saying, "How did you even do that?"
Oh my god.
I got it.
Oh god. That's amazing.
So I said, "Will you? If we stop it, will you give me what I want?" Is what I said.
And did you?
And I touched your face.
Yes, mark.
And I have to mark it
Yeah.
down. You're right. I didn't.
And I think what happens is, am I allowed to know what scene 8 is before?
It's up to you. I
mean,
I don't remember what it is, but
I just don't know. Like, I don't want to.
no, we're not on. We're actually on scene.
Oh, tell me.
Oh, you know what? I skipped a scene by accident.
Oh no.
I skipped to scene 7, which is fine because when we skipped to a scene 6, the disagreement becomes heated. I misread the order.
Well, that was something that happened in between
that's
these
fine.
the last
so
two scenes.
Scene 8 is, I'll tell you.
Okay.
Scene 8 is parting ways, perhaps forever.
Okay.
So I think it's how this scene goes what really determines what happens next.
I see. Man, I think I know what has to happen here, and I think what happens is Venom says. And I think like this is all happening kind of like in moments, like quick little seconds
right,
here.
Seconds, yeah.
Because Spider-Man's literally about to die here, and he says, "Oh my God, this is bad."
If we save him and I give you what we want, we also lose killing the spider.
And at that moment, he full-on rages into Venom.
Oh! Oh, man.
I think narratively, that's in order to give in to Venom, or in order for Venom to give Eddie what he wanted,
he had to. That was. Yeah, because the whole thing is like you're trying not to give
Yeah.
in. So if he was going to give in, he had to knock the tower over.
Yeah, and I think that was like, and this is they're sacrificing what they want, and that's killing their common enemy.
Yeah.
To save him, and they're becoming the hero.
If you had waited like one beat more, or let me have one more move, I would have said like I would have chosen that moment, like give me what I want, and let the spider live. I would have chosen that.
And I think like what I really love is that like. I don't know. This was like that was the perfect moment, and I love that it was at the bell tower.
Yep, that was so good.
All right,
Mel, can you look up the calculation at the end for figuring out? You want to use the.
Maybe you should do your own work, Ben.
Luckily, Blaine doesn't have a mic anymore because now he's just feisty over there.
He's getting feisty with his Illimat and his and his other.
Oh, it's
stuff.
the Crane Life expansion you grabbed. Awesome, Villamat. That's great. Great.
Why are 2 nuts playing?
That's in the. That's just in the. Two nuns
Yeah.
are playing. You don't have the mic. Don't forget.
So
Audio format.
So what Mel's doing, she's looking up what we have to do with our results here, and
Yeah.
then that will kind of explain how we end our story.
Let me know when
First,
you're ready.
I think. Yeah. First, I think we have to describe. Like you knocked over the tower,
Oh.
so you
I'll
already
tell
sort of
you.
did, but describing like gross detail, giving into.
Okay.
Like your feelings for Eddie, and then like we kind of like embellish
Okay.
that with each other, and
So-
we really give into.
Wait, hang on a second, because I could tell you exactly what it says.
go ahead.
Okay.
It says, if the tower falls, describe how the character of the player who last touched the tower acts on their feelings. So that's
Okay.
the first thing you do.
Okay, so I think what Venom is doing is they're looking at each other. Like it's not just side by side, not even like just side by side looking. He's moved at that point.
Those big white eyes
yeah.
again, right in front of me.
and is staring at the confidence and the drive that Eddie has to want to accept this alien power, and he's giving in to what Eddie wants, to what Venom wants, to become the single being of Venom, in a almost sexual way and sensual way. No, you're not saying sensual is better.
I'll let people decide which one it is.
Yeah, you guys can decide. But he and it almost like he's going in to embrace, embrace
Yeah.
Eddie,
Yeah.
in a sensual way where they're like face to face, and as they, it's not like if it was two humans, it would probably be some sort of sensual kiss.
Yeah.
But it's their faces merging together, and
It's amazing.
Wow.
and like the intertwining of Venom's symbiote wrapping around Eddie's muscles,
Yep.
and it's like this whole thing.
I mean, he's
is
feeling
way-
every inch of his body.
Yeah, it's not just like a quick transformation like
Right.
it was to save Eddie's life.
Right.
I wish everyone could see Blaine's face right now.
Venom is literally like caressing Eddie's skin as he wraps around every part of his body.
Okay, so what is the next?
All
thing
right,
say?
so the next thing we do is tally up the total attraction score.
I guess, and did they save Spider-Man? I guess I want to make sure we make that clear.
Yeah, if that, yeah.
Yeah, the most important is obviously the joining together, but then the less important part is that then he saves Spider-Man.
He saves Spider-Man, and he doesn't even kill Goblin. He,
Yeah.
Venom,
Right.
just knock him out and save Spider-Man and anti-hero business.
So
Yeah.
it says, when you can tear yourselves away from the climax of your story,
It's hard to do.
move on to the epilogue.
So and
Combine the number of filled stars on each of your character sheets. This represents your attraction score. When you're done, let me know, and I'll tell you what the chart says.
All right, I have 8.
I have 10, so that's 18.
18. That's a lot of
That's
attraction.
good.
How many do you have?
I have 10, so,
And you-
18.
so 18 total.
18 total.
Okay, so wait a minute.
I feel like that's a lot. feel like
I don't
it's-
remember.
yeah.
I've done this a number of times, and I've seen the list. Yeah, 20 plus is
All right, so combine.
close.
You have to combine your total attraction
did,
score.
yeah.
So you have
18 total.
18.
18 total.
Oh, okay. So, sweet, cherished love with the bitter certainty of loss. That's 17 to 19. If you had scored 20 or more, you would have had, your mind is overruled by the frantic beating of your heart. Damn the world. From
two
now
polls
on, you
away.
only need each other. So you're close,
2
but
polls. I want to read
the
it.
bitter certainty of loss
I just wanna
is in your future.
Yeah, well, I mean, that makes sense.
Okay.
So I just want to make sure
Yeah.
sweet cherished love with the bitter
And
certainty of
there's
loss.
one part after this. It says, your roles of lead and follow are set aside now. The dance is over. Together, tell the end of your character's story. What did they finally say to each other? What still goes unsaid? What do they do? Where do they go? These are all suggestions. Indulge in scenic descriptions and sensual details. This is the grand or tastefully understated finale to your story.
All right, so what happens to these two after the bell tower? You already said he embraces the anti-hero nature of who he's going to be, and sort of where do they go from there?
I think what happens is because if it ends bitterly, I think this is what I think happens. And again, this is our own headcanon for Spider-Man and Venom and the whole Marvel Spider-Verse. Is I think they embrace it, they're enjoying this new life of hey, you know what, being good is not bad. There's something that we are jealous of when it comes to Spider-Man, but we can still do good in our own way.
Yeah, and I think Eddie because what I think that gives Eddie is both the power he was attracted to in Venom, but also he gets to retain that humanity that was important to him.
Yeah.
So he still feels like he's who he himself. He's like almost embraced the us, nature.
Yes, yeah.
Like he's found how to be us, not just himself.
And I think Venom, like, he, while still kind of maybe has that superior complex over humans, he doesn't necessarily care for his alien race that basically abandoned him. Like it's been how long at this point?
Yeah.
And no one's come back for him. He's still on Earth, so this is a new home. And he has someone. And I think it ultimately, like, where this ends bitterly.
Yeah, where's the loss?
I think the loss here is that, I think ultimately we don't know what happens to the Venom, the symbiote himself, but there comes a moment where there's immense pain when they're just fighting crime or whatever, and they don't know exactly why. And they're God, I wish I knew the guy's name. Cassidy. What's the dude's name? We'll say Cassidy. He's got it. Do you know the spider lore enough? No. Okay. It's something Cassidy. Casey Cassidy, maybe.
I don't remember.
But they're like, it's this crazy red-headed maniac that's robbing a bank, but he's not a super yet. And there's something in that moment that causes immense pain in Eddie Venom, and something springs off of them as they're fighting crime, and it's a painful experience that ultimately leads to the birth of Carnage and maybe the death of Venom, like because that pain separates Venom from Eddie, and
I imagine Eddie probably tries to find Venom and get Venom back.
And here's what I think how they actually separate is that when Carnage is birthed, it's Carnage and Venom fighting each other, and there's some sort of explosion that separates. Oh God, I don't know if this isn't bitter, but the explosion in order to save Eddie, Venom has to separate from Eddie.
Wow. Wait, so the Venom separates, risking his own life, risking their own life, to save Eddie's life.
Yes, and I think.
Oh my gosh!
I think what
so
happens.
Romantic.
I think what happens is, presumably from Eddie's perspective, Venom's portion of the symbiote burns up in the fire.
Wow.
And who knows what happens after that?
So good. What an amazing epilogue. But his sacrificial moment birthed their child.
Yes.
Incredible.
Wow,
that's
star-crossed.
That's
Phrases you didn't think you'd say today. Sacrificial love. His sacrificial love birthed their child.
Guys, this is, and if Alex Roberts is listening, this is everything I think I wanted to be and more. This is the real romantic comedy that we all needed from the Sony Marvel movie universe.
Yes.
And I demand this to be part of the sequel. There's scenes from this that they need to have in that movie. Ben, thank you for playing this game.
Thank you for having me.
And Mel, thank you for being the commentary and helping organize the rules.
You are so welcome.
Jeff Venom, thanks for stopping by and popping in earlier.
Yes.
And Blaine, thanks for stopping by and helping us take it home.
Oh, you're welcome.
All right, guys. I'm going to throw it to me in the future, who's going to wrap this up for the big 150. Guys, I really, really loved playing this game. I don't play a lot of role-playing games, as I would love to be able to play more. And one of the nice things about PAX Unplugged is I was able to pick up a copy of Adventure Tales, which is a very rules-light, kid-friendly tabletop role-playing system that, despite it being a couple months past PAX Unplugged and not playing it yet, I am really looking forward to sitting down and writing out some adventures and getting into DMing and GMing or whatever you want to call it, and running some stuff with my kids and the family, and to get more into gaming that way, as well as launching some other projects in 2019 that will get me more involved in the gaming community, tabletop role-playing games specifically. And I hope to do more of it. I'm going to be guesting on more shows this year, I hope, and just doing more with that kind of stuff. But big thanks to both Ben
and Mel Wallis from the Pot of Love podcast for being part of this episode. Blaine Martin, thank you for chiming in. And, of course, Jeff Stormer, he stopped by. So thank you all for being part of episode 150. I don't even know who to thank, just for support for all these episodes. But, really this episode probably wouldn't have happened without James D'Amato, if I'm being honest, from the One Shot podcast, because he's the one that asked me what I was doing or if I was planning anything special for episode 150 when I interviewed him a few months back when he was releasing his book. And it got me thinking, and for episode 100, we put on a live show at Amalgam Comics and Coffee House and played Jeff Stormer's Mission Accomplished. And I wanted to do something like that again. And not necessarily book a live show. It all kind of came together where we were talking on Twitter about Starcrossed, and something about Venom came up because of the movie that came out. So it kind of clicked and made sense, and I said, that's what we're doing for episode 150, and we were able to make it happen at PAX Unplugged, and I'm so happy that we did. Of course, this episode also wouldn't have happened without Alex Roberts, so thank you to her for designing such a wonderful, heartwarming, fun game to play. Starcrossed is definitely one of my favorites, and as much as being a listener of it on several other podcasts, and not really understanding, like, man, is there really that much tension in it? When you're playing, there's tensions there, and I think you guys heard it in this podcast. So, great game. Highly recommend it. I believe it's now available, so you can pick it up now if you didn't back it on Kickstarter. And I just want to thank all you guys, the listeners, for, listening and every week, whether you're, this is your first choice, whether you're here with us every week, whether you just pop in when there's a guest here that you like. Thank you so much for supporting this show, just by simply listening. It means the world to me. I love podcasting. I love this medium. And I hope that I bring something different to the table with Everything Is Awesome. I hope that we are showcasing just everything that is, I believe, an interest to people and means something to people. So I'm going to wrap up because I know there's some more stuff that's going to happen. That's part of our normal close for the show, and I don't want to keep you here too much longer. So once again, thank you to Jeff Stormer, Ben Wallis, Mel Wallis, Blaine Martin, Alex Roberts, James D'Amato, Mike D'Angelo, and just everyone that's been part of this show for the last 150 plus episodes, if I'm being honest, because we've had some bonus episodes and whatnot. So thank you all for being part of the show, for listening to the show, and I hope you guys really enjoyed episode 150 here. If you're listening to this now, very shortly, if not already, episode 151 is already out, where I sit down and chat with the creator and designer of Starcrossed, Alex Roberts. So stay tuned for that. Maybe take a break, take a nap. I understand you just sat down with us for 2 hours, but then come back and listen to my conversation with Alex. Amazing conversation. What a fun, just such a good person Alex is. So thank you all so much once again. And I'm going to let the other me, the more automated me, kind of wrap things up here. See you next time. We like to end Everything Is Awesome with a call to action. Super friends, there are a lot of terrible things happening right now. It can feel like you can't do anything to help, but you can. It takes people like us to make a difference. One of the easiest and most effective ways to action is to call your representatives about issues that are important to you. When I call my reps, I use a site called 5calls.org. That's the number 5calls.org. There, you'll find issue summaries for issues that are important to you, contact information for your representatives, and a script to read while you're on the phone to make sure your message gets across. Calling is quick, easy, and is one of the most effective ways to have your voice heard. Thank you to all of our supporters on patreon.com/thatentertains. Without their support, we wouldn't be able to bring this episode to you. If you want to support us in a non-monetary way, word-of-mouth recommendations and 5-star rating reviews on iTunes are the best way to spread the good word of awesome. You can find us on Facebook.com and Twitter at RealAwesomePod or at Awesome Podcast on Instagram. And we're available on AwesomePodcast.com and ThatEntertains.com/network. Get news about everything is awesome from our website, social media accounts, and also on my personal Twitter at ThatNerdyKev. If you're interested in ad rates, live appearances, help with your podcast, or have a question or comment, email us at awesome@crudeHumorstudios.com. Everything is Awesome is a production of That's Entertainment Podcast Network in association with Crude Humor Studios. Crude Humor Studios is a Philadelphia-based production company specializing in audio, video, and live performances. You can find more info at crudehumorstudios.com. Thanks for listening, Super Friends. We've been awesome.
That's Entertainment Podcast Network. Entertainment and culture. Artist-owned, fan-supported.